These are all my thoughts and opinions based on information out in the public domain. It's snowing again. Hello, my gorgeous people. Let me put my gloves on, my mittens on, because it's actually quite cold. But it's pretty. You know, it's very interesting because Whoopi Goldberg chose a last name, Goldberg, because she said she was Jewish, even though it was proven beyond any doubt that there's nothing Jewish about her. So she just because she feels Jewish, I'm going to choose Goldberg. Never mind the cultural implications that means. And then she tries to use racism to justify anybody questioning her. Why picking the name Goldberg? It's something that's very Meghan. You know what I mean? It's like taking advantage, abusing, and then getting angry for anybody who dares to question her. Now, I want to do this because I got a few interesting emails about how dare I speak about getting Child Protective Services involved in with Meghan. Child Protective Services are there for a reason, and they take anonymous calls for a reason when parents are not doing their job. It has been proven that emotional and psychological abuse can be emotional and psychological, and given what we've seen of Meghan and Harry, it's not unthinkable to imagine them doing that to their children. Isolating children is a form of abuse. When you isolate children from the rest of their family, because the rest of their family plays an important role in ensuring that the parents do their job. Because there are so many cases of abuses, and usually it's an uncle, a cousin, a sister, who will look out for the child. So when I say that those children are being used and isolated, I mean, they choose which people they allow the children to get, people who have access to the children, which is another form of abuse. And because usually it implies that somebody is lying or doing something that's not right. Criminals don't like witnesses to their crimes. This is why they get rid of them, they isolate them, they threaten. And these two children, if they exist, are being manipulated, isolated from reality, and they're living in the sick reality that is Harry and Meghan Markle. So that's what my opinion is to all those emails I get, and who do you think you are about a child? And it's actually neglectful, because a child is somebody who can't defend him or herself. This is why grown-ups are involved. This is why that agency of Child Protective Services was created, to protect them from their family most of the time, and most likely their parents. So yeah, I do think something is not right with Harry and Meghan Markle and those children, if they exist. Now, Meghan Markle is now threatened to quit Spotify. It's not that Spotify wants to fire her. Now she threatened to quit because her views of don't match with Spotify, because her voice would be misused. Do you remember how Meghan Markle kept going on about her voice, how the royal family took away her voice, and now she's found her voice, but only through Oprah, only through this other thing, only on a stage in New York concert. While she had a huge microphone in Spotify, not only to use her voice, but also to allow other people to use it, people in less fortunate arenas, in less fortunate areas. She should have been kind enough to lend her platform, or the platform of her husband's family, so to others. Because Meghan Markle, I mean, I have been thinking, because you have no idea the amount of emails I get from people that Meghan was terrible, that people that people were terrible to her, they didn't let her speak. Okay, so to those emails, who's stopping her now? Who is stopping her now? Who's muzzling her beak? I'd like to know who's muzzling her beak, because this is a woman with a huge beak. So and that's my answer to you guys. Who is muzzling her beak now? I don't think anybody is. She's doing it because she had and this is where you see the hypocrisy, because she had the opportunity. Many of you also wrote to me and said, don't give her ideas. Those ideas are long gone, guys, because the time to do it was the past 18 months. The point I was trying to make was, if she really cared about those things, if she really was serious about lobbying about things and using her platform, her newfound platform for the good, for making changes in the world, who stopped her? I mean, Spotify paid her to have a voice and to voice her opinions. And here we have nothing. Nothing. You remember when they did the teen suicide thing, that they booked this place and there was a whole thing, and then she made the teen suicide about her, instead of having a Spotify about it and allowing them a platform to talk and stuff like that. So for those of you who send me those emails, that's my answer. Who is shutting her beak? Nobody is. Nobody's telling her not to speak. Now, people also saying that Oprah is not talking to her. You know, whether Oprah is talking to her or not, or even Ellen, it doesn't really matter, because in Meghan's mind, they have served their purpose. They have catapulted her to stardom in her mind. And this is one thing that people don't understand. This is what people in Meghan keeps asking for an apology to her. She's, it reminds me of my ex-husband when he used to beat me up. It's like, it's your fault. And I would be apologizing to him because I really thought it was my fault that I made him do that. So in Meghan's mind, because in my opinion, she's an abusive person. She's a narcissistic person. She knows that she's doing wrong. And she knows she's manipulating people. So for those who keep telling that Meghan is not aware, she knows. If you know right from wrong, unless you're mentally insane, which we assume she's not, because if she's mentally insane, we go back to the children, which means that the children should not be with somebody who's mentally insane, mentally incapable of recognizing right from wrong. Because if a person is like that, how can they raise a child? So Meghan knows what she's doing. She's just angry that it's backfired. But with Oprah and Ellen, if Oprah really wanted to put a stop to Meghan, and this is when I tell you that all these people stick together, and it's the arrogance that gets them. If Oprah wanted to really put an end to Meghan and Harry, she would have them again and ask them the real questions and ask them why they lied. Because everything they did and said there, it was a lie. To date, Oprah hasn't done that. I mean, you can find snippets of the interview. They've taken the interview from the CBS, I think, website. But she hasn't taken it down. You know how she did with that guy who copyrighted the book or something like that? I don't know how you call that. But it's... So the reason I'm doing this video, because I'm answering many emails from a lot of the sugars I get. Who do you think you are? Meghan's has lost her voice. Okay, but she got it back in LA. She's in California. Spotify paid her millions. What shut her up? Who's shutting her up? Why isn't she using her voice, the platform that she got through marriage? Why isn't she using that? To help the poor people, by the way. No, because this is what I'm saying, unless she's doing with an A-list or something like that, it doesn't make any, it's insane. So that's my answer to you, and also to the Children Protective Services. And if you look at this, you have Whoopi Goldberg, who actually came out in defense of Meghan Markle. She came out in defense of Meghan Markle. And Meghan Markle has used race repeatedly to her advantage. Oh, she gave, for the Martin Luther King, they got food from food carts or whatever. Why not do a podcast on Martin Luther King and the history of importance? Have some black people come and talk about it. Maybe some old timers who were there, people who have been influenced by Martin Luther King's teachings. And by the way, Martin Luther King's teachings were that we're all equal. It was inclusivity, not segregation, which is what we seem to be going back to. That if you're white, you have to be here. If you're black, you have to be here. That's segregation. That is something that Martin Luther King died to avoid. And here we are. Rosa Parks. Why was Rosa Parks' gesture of sitting in the front of the bus so powerful? to demonstrate that she has rights and that we are all the same. We can all occupy the same space. So all these things don't make any sense to me. But Meghan Markle had a golden opportunity to do a brilliant podcast on Martin Luther King's Day. That I would have done that if I were her, do a podcast and maybe talk to people, Martin Luther King, see how impacted they are, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful things that she could have done. Nope, nothing. So this is what my answer is. And from what I understand, they are coming back to the UK. And that judicial review that Harry's asking for, that costs money. Because he's asking the courts to get involved. Who do you think pays the courts? The taxpayers. So he's wasting people's money to get police security. Yes, he wants to pay for it. That's not the point. There's over 2,000 firms outside in the UK. Over 500 of those are elite forces that they employ former policemen, former veterans and stuff like that, who know how to protect and have good links with the police department. But no, he's wasting taxpayers' money for that. What do you guys think? Do you think that Oprah is still friends with Meghan? I think so. I think so. That's my personal opinion. Because if she weren't, she would have called her out. She would have issued a statement. Because Oprah admitted that they manipulated the newspapers' headlines to suit Meghan's narrative. So this is not something that wasn't planned, that they didn't know the questions. They had manipulated those narratives around things, So it was premeditation. And this was done as an attack to the royal family. So, do you... and it's just stupid. I really do think stupid. There's so many things. So for all of those sugars... And if you ask me, many people have asked me if I think those pregnancies were real. It's my opinion that they were not. I don't think they were real. Because if they were, she would have produced those documents. On the spot. It has nothing to do with privacy because we know that this woman doesn't care about privacy for real. She doesn't care about privacy. Whenever she can, she produces stuff. You know how she threatened to say that? Oh, Gayle King came out and said, oh, Meghan has the receipts. Okay. Of her conversations. Why didn't she produce them? Because she has none. And any receipts she may have actually make her look guilty. So my opinion is, and there's just so many things, which is why it makes me upset that the royal family and parliament is allowing Meghan Markle not to present to the public as it should be, the certificate of the doctors stating that they deliver the children from her body. So, but that's just my opinion. It has nothing to do with conspiracy theories. It has nothing to do with that. It's just logic because given this woman's personality, when she has something, she makes sure you know of it. You know what I mean? But here, it has nothing to do with privacy or secrecy or whatever. That something is that right? So yeah, but that's what I think. What do you guys think? Do you actually think she carried the children? Okay. I don't think so. But that's just me. Do you think that Oprah is still in cahoots with her? And do you think she's coming to the UK? I think she is. They have to come to the UK. And I can guarantee you that at the same time when the Queen is doing something, she will probably do something herself somewhere in England. Which is why they want the police protection, because they know they're up to no good. Please leave your comments. I have not unsubscribed any of you. I am so thankful we hit the 16,000 mark. I hope you like that. The snow. I love it. I really do. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's make our platform grow. I have a story to tell you about me, but I'll tell you eventually, like in maybe in a month's time or something like that. And I'll do a live with Trevor. I couldn't do it yesterday because they're repairing the internet. So it was very unstable, but we'll do it hopefully this weekend when the internet is repaired. And then I'm going to do another live with Miss P. Dinah. We're going to discuss really pretty cool things. I promise I'm not going to talk very much. I'm going to let her talk because I know that's a criticism I get. But I hope you enjoy it. And also, if we're having a drink while we're doing our lives, people criticize, oh, how terrible you both are drunk. Paula is not knowing what to speak because she's drunk. If you can't stand watching 2 adult people or 3 having a drink on a Friday or Saturday night or whatever that night is, then don't watch. We're all adults here, anyways, do let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe.